Mhm.
I
35. I've
I think
survived,
that's
and I actually
extremely
finished
impressive.
surviving a pandemic. Who could imagine?
Yeah, I know. Who knew in your 35th year
Right?
that you'd be dealing with
Exactly.
that?
Ugh.
Um, but what drew you to the power of skin? Because as you said before, it's our largest organ. There's so much power um, in
It's
that
interesting.
organ
Yeah.
itself. Like, what drew you to the care and the power of our skin?
Well, I actually was in beauty school to do hair and makeup, and that was what I thought I was doing. That was my direction I thought I
Yeah.
was going in. In school, we used to have a program where masters would come in and talk to you about these would be people in the area that were successful. And a master came in and he was an esthetician. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he talked about skin. And I was like, wow, I felt, uh-uh, the, I'm changing direction. This is what he set up a facial. We put the music on and I thought to be able to make someone relax and feel great, I thought, okay, that goes beyond. I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, aesthetically, hair and makeup do too. But
Mhm.
to physically touch someone, to be able to touch them and have them say, "Oh my goodness, I feel so amazing. You just made me forget about my day." And I was like, "I'm hooked. That's what I want to do. That's
Yeah,
that's my passion." And ever since then, still have had the same passion for 30 plus, 35 plus years,
that's so
which is
refreshing
hard
to
to
hear.
say. Most
I was
people
gonna
can't do
say,
that.
that's
Yeah.
I have changed careers a good amount of times. I am
It
35,
happens to
so
all
it's
of us.
refreshing.
Oh.
And I mean, touch in general too, I think people have figured out the power of touch through this pandemic because they haven't been able to, whether it's a hug, whether it's a facial, and that
Oh my
kind
goodness.
it really
When the
goes into
pandemic
like,
hit, I thought, this is what I do for a living. I
right,
touch
like what am
people
I gonna do?
for a living.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we have had this discussion at Nollapelli about how we believe skincare is essential care, right? And across the states, we're on the East Coast, but across the states, there's all these different regulations: who can do facials, who cannot, what skincare you can do because of mask coverings. So, I mean, here at Nollapelli, we believe that estheticians should be able to do those facials. We believe it's essential care. And so how are you adjusting now with this pandemic? Like, how are you staying in touch with your clients, and what how can we support our local estheticians if they're not able to complete their services?
Well, I will tell you, and when the pandemic hit, I was in shock. I was like, wow, I touch people for a living. How is this, how am I going to adjust my
Right.
business and what I do? So, needless to say, I feel extremely blessed because my clientele is more like family to me. Okay, we are in contact at all times. And I think that as a business owner and as an esthetician, my clients have access to me through my personal phone, through email,
Mhm.
through social media at all times. So during the pandemic, people were texting me, "How are you? What are
Sure.
your thoughts about what's happening?" So I kept in contact with all of them, and I thought, wow, okay, what can I do? So clients were asking for products. They
Mm,
were like, I need products for my skin. And I was like, okay. In the beginning, when it hit, I was like, well, a lot of my products are already packaged in plastic and in boxes. So that's how they come
yep.
already. So I said, I'd be glad to drive them to your house and put it in your mailbox. If you feel comfortable with that, I'll wear gloves, whatever, and they were like, absolutely. So I was like, okay, well, I can at least sell some of my retail. It was very important for me to my clients to not regress in their skincare regime.
Right.
I really wanted them to keep up their skincare regime and all the work they've done on their skin and not fall backwards. So
Hmm.
I was calling my vendors, can I still get products? Can you ship them to my house instead of my business? My business is closed. They were like, absolutely. So that's what I was doing. I reached out to every single client. Well, what else was I doing? I was sitting home. I was like, I have to do something.
Right.
Right. And I'm a very high energy person. I work out, I'm into nutrition. So I was like, every day, every single day, I checked in with all different clients, and they were like, oh, how are you? How are you doing?
Hmm.
What's going on? Could I get a product from you? Would that be possible? And honestly, my clients were like, what can I do to keep you afloat? They were so amazing. I was blown away, blown away.
Yeah, that's amazing. That
But
that fills
clients
my
even were
heart with
like,
such
I'm
joy.
going to leave. They were buying products and leaving money in an envelope saying, take the money. I want you to stay afloat. I want to be able to see you again.
But I mean, I
Crazy. So that's what I did.
that goes back to your point about how you like to educate, right? And as part of your service, you like to educate about that skin. And so your clients know how important their skincare
Absolutely.
routine is. They know how important it is. And just like you said, you didn't want them to regress. They didn't want to regress either, especially not knowing the timeline of all of this.
Right. Exactly. And if you know anyone who's gone through stress and trauma, such as a death or some type of, job loss or a divorce. I mean, I hate to say it, but it really ages you. I mean, my girlfriend lost a child. It aged her 10 years. And I knew on this pandemic, people were becoming depressed and
Right.
upset. Again, we just mentioned skin is the largest organ. Whatever's going on inside is going to show outside.
Yep.
I not only was talking to them about skincare, but I was talking to them about tapping into old hobbies and whatever brings you joy in your life. Get out, walk, do whatever you need to do to feel better, because this is going to pass.
Right.
And I just wanted them to know that I'm here. I'm more than their esthetician.
I was just going to say, I think you're a little bit of a guru over there, MaryRose.
I mean, it's about, right? And I mean, my clients will come to me and depressed or upset, and I'll be like, you know what, tap into joy. What if you ask someone what brings you joy? It's a tough question.
It is.
A lot of people can't answer it.
Right. And it seems so simple. It seems
so simple,
but it's really, really tough to bring that childlike joy, right? Where everything else in the world fades, and you are just in zone with what makes you happy. It's really difficult.
It is difficult. And I was like, look, we're not wearing makeup. Let's work on our skin. No one's wearing makeup. Nobody was, I feel so bad for these makeup companies. Nobody was putting lipstick on. No one was wearing makeup. People are working from home. You can become a little bit, lazy, right?
Absolutely.
Why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't care what you do. You better be doing your skincare. Keep that, take care of your skin. And that's what I did. I actually, I hate to say it, but I was peddling product. That's what I was doing. And I was like, tell me what you need. Drink water, hydrate, because that's crucial. I always say to my clients, you can never be hydrated enough.
Yeah. Well, I think I've even found myself, and I typically work from home, but at home was I had to have a really strict routine on reminding myself to drink water at home. I don't know, when you're at a co-working space or an office, it just seems like that's part of your breaks that gets you off your desk and moving. And so it becomes a little easier. When you're home, it tends to forget. It's a big part of taking care of your skin too.
It's huge, right? I always laugh and say to my clients, no one's ever going to go, oh, your skin's too hydrated. That will never happen. Oh, your skin's way too hydrated.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're
exactly.
We can't have
so. I'm like, you really need to step up the hydration. And, again, I think I was so concerned about the no touch thing, with the pandemic. I'm like, are people going to be afraid to come and see me?
Well, it was interesting. Alice and I were just talking about the dentist.
Oh, that's a whole different ball of wax, right?
Right. Well, me being pregnant, having a dentist appointment is really important, right? The calcium drained from your teeth. And when I left the dentist, I thought to myself about this interview. I'm like, what's the difference? Right. I mean, what is the difference? I mean, my teeth, it was, a wellness checkup. It was making sure that everything is good, but your smile is a part of your face, is a part of your wellness. To me, it was like, I don't understand why. I mean, we're in Pennsylvania, right? Like, why can't we have facials? I'm sure as estheticians, you would wear the proper gear to keep everyone safe. And it was just interesting to me. It was really interesting to me. Like, why is that not in the same realm?
I agree. I mean, to be honest with you, I felt the CDC just didn't understand what we do for a living. I didn't think they understood, first of all, as an esthetician of all these years, I have always taken precaution. I don't care. I act like there's a pandemic all the time. Okay. That's how strict I am. I actually hired an employee right before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I trained her for 8 to 9 months. She worked 1 week and the pandemic hit. Wow. Okay. So I was like, please don't lose your passion. Please, and the crazy thing is she used to be my client. She was my client. She had expressed, an interest in skincare. I'm like, okay, let me know when you're done school. Get back to me. Yeah. I said, and she did. And I was like, oh no, I said to her, I cannot be explicit enough on every single thing that we do. It's crucial. We are under a magnifying lens now. We always did it, but now it's even, you really have to sharpen up your tools. And she's like, okay, and she was like, whatever we need to do, I just want to be able to do facials. And I was like, good answer. So do I.
I love it.
When you love what you do, and I'm like, it was like, I sustained, 2007, 2008, when it was horrible. I had 3 jobs. I worked in 3 spas, 3 of them, just to keep afloat. So when this hit, I was like, I'm not down yet.
Yeah. I've been through other storms. I can weather this too.
Right.
So for people you kind of talk about maintaining your routine. You don't want to lose a step with that. Now for people, what about beyond? Because routines are so individualized, right? So for people that can't get to their estheticians, what would you recommend in maintaining your skin? You talked about drinking water, making sure that we're staying lots and very hydrated. I mean, we talked a little bit before we started recording about, our bedding. We're a bedding company, right? So my mind immediately goes into, okay, is it time to invest in better bedding that is for your skin and bedding made for your body, such as Nollapelli sheets, which is, obviously our name.
Right.
But are there any other things that you've told your clients? Obviously you're giving them their products and their routine, but is there anything else that for people that cannot go and get their facials, what they can do to maintain their skin?
Absolutely. Well, I think basic skincare is where you start. Okay. We are actually in the fall season right now here in Bucks County, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
And it's important that we exfoliate. Okay. Removing the dead skin stimulates cell turnover. Okay. When you remove the dead skin that lays on the stratum, it's your stratum corneum and epidermis, right?
Yep.
You're removing that. In order for any products to penetrate or anything to actually penetrate your skin, you've got to exfoliate. Now, American women tend to overdo it. Okay. Women scrub, clean. Well, if my family is European descent, and I've spent a lot of time with the product line that I sell in Europe. So they are taught from a very young age that you do not want to overdo it. Now, a lot of American women love scrubs, right? Granulated scrubs to exfoliate.
Really
gritty granulated scrubs. Okay. I'm not a big fan of them. Okay. Scrubs can irritate, and it depends on how thick your epidermis is. Some people are thinner, some people are thicker. But I always tell my clients, exfoliate at home at least twice a week during the fall. Of course, you can choose your product of choice, but I always ask them to get back to me and let's confer about what you're using.
Right.
And I will research a product. If I don't have the answer, I get right back to them and I tell them whether I think it's okay or not. I prefer a non-granulated scrub, but Europeans call them gommage or peelings, descal creams. There's all different names for them. But I recommend that at least twice a week. If you're doing anything, definitely do that. Get that dead skin off. And of course, hydrate. And when I mean hydrate, people never use toners at home. I'll say, are you using a toner? They'll say, I'm dry. I say, are you using a toner? Oh, no. Don't you think I need to change my moisturizer? No. Toners are crucial. Skincare is science, just like other things. Cleansing, toning, moisturizing. When you cleanse, you disturb your pH. You want to replace it. That's where toners come in. No cotton ball, cotton pads. Those days are over. That's old school. Okay? You're using a misting spray to just leave on the skin and you pat in. Toners are very, very high tech now. They contain hyaluronic acid, big word for hydration, dimethicone, bonds hydration to your skin. So I say, use a toner. Exfoliation and toning is like 2 things you can do at home.
Right.
And listen, every company, skincare company now puts it in a spray form. Most do. So you're spraying it on after you cleanse.
Right. And that toner.
So you disturb your 3.5 pH, you have to replace it.
You have to replace it. And by replacing it, you also allow a better surface for your moisturizer or your facial serum. Am I correct in saying that?
Correct. Good answer. Perfect.
Better. Yeah. It adheres it better because
after you cleanse, you tone. So
right. Okay.
So when you apply moisturizer, right?
I'm feeling good about
that. Tone, you have dimethicone and hyaluronic acid. Moisturizer binds to your skin, right? The toner is helping it hydrate, and then you put the moisturizer on. You're good. You know what you're doing. Exactly.
That's
That's what they should be doing. Basics at home. Just
Right.
basics.
Right.
And again, I mean, during the pandemic, a lot of people couldn't get out. So
Yes.
people were ordering online, which, really helped.
Yes. Well, and I think sometimes.
And I think that, I was like, just do the basics.
Right. And it's so easy to.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it's so easy to overcomplicate things. Like, your skin changes as your body changes. I've noticed it with pregnancy, and it's, I want to go out and get all of these different things, but at the end of the day, I need to stick to my basics. My skin is more sensitive than it's ever been. And I just need to stick to my basics. It's like, it's
absolutely. Well, because of your hormones, right? Because you're hormonal right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I want to talk about pumpkin.
I can do a facial and know if a woman's pregnant.
Can you? How? Just because of this sensitivity?
Yeah, I've done I was doing a facial on my client.
Did they know they were pregnant?
The client, you know their skin.
Yeah.
So I go to do a facial on her, and I push away and I go, "Do you have something to tell me?" And she's like, "How do you know?" I go, "You're pregnant." She goes, "How do you know?" I go, "Your skin has completely changed." She was like, "Shh, don't tell anyone." I'm like, "Okay."
I'm glad she knew.
But and honestly, your skin changes all the time through so many reasons. Stress, right. I've been seeing a lot of acne, which we call mask acne.
Yes.
You've seen a lot of that?
Yes. We were talking about that because we made masks out of our Nollapelli sheets. That's something that we adapted.
Okay.
And I personally use our Nollapelli mask, and because of the innovative textile that we have, it's nice for maintaining that sweat, especially if you have.
It's breathable.
Yes.
It's very breathable. Clients are clamoring for that right now.
Yeah. And so that has been our number one feedback, is that people they don't, cotton is so heavy, and cotton absorbs our moisture. And so it's just, it's been really nice, especially in the summer months when people have to wear masks all day.
Absolutely. I do a lot of doctors. I do a lot of nurses who have to be in this 10 to 12 hours a day. I have one nurse who's in labor and delivery, and she started to break out. She's like, "Oh my goodness, I'm totally having the acne." I had her come in. We talked about, what we should do as far as like a breathable mask.
Right.
And I mean, when I work, and I work 10-hour days, mm-hmm. I work with a mask and a Z shield and gloves and goggles.
Yeah.
Okay. So, when client says to me, "Oh, I can't take these masks," I'm like, "Yeah, you can." Because as far as I'm concerned, as long as I can work,
I have 5 layers on.
Yeah. Yeah. But we are now in a society where, we're all covered up, right? We're covered up, and the fall and the winter is coming. So we get a little break of the humidity. So we're not going to worry so much about the breakout, but this isn't going anywhere. We're going to be masks for a very long time. So you have to get used to it. So I say now, brows are very important.
The eyes are the windows.
The brows and the eyes have it. Yeah. Right.
And I want to talk about that transition to fall and winter a little bit for skin. I know Rachel, our director of marketing, and we were talking about how we're seeing pumpkin, right? Pumpkin craze happens every fall.
Sure.
We've been seeing it more for skin and use in skin, like pumpkin products. And
absolutely.
And I was never really privy to that, to be honest. And so what is it about pumpkin that is so beneficial for our skin?
Well, first of all, I mean, there's so many antioxidants in pumpkin. Also, we use enzymes. Mm-hmm. We take the enzymes from the pumpkin for exfoliation. I do a great treatment with a pumpkin enzyme, and I use steam. You can't believe how smooth your skin feels. Now, enzymes are molecular.
That, right? I think Rachel did that facial, right?
She did.
Yeah.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, she was raving about it.
Right. So your skin enzymes are a really good alternative to an alpha hydroxy or some type of peel. It is a peel. An enzyme is a peel, but it's much gentler than an alpha hydroxy. Mm-hmm. You can do them under steam or not under steam. First of all, it smells amazing. The smell is amazing. Yeah, secondly, the enzymes break down the dead skin. They break the bonds of the dead skin on your epidermis, and they make you very, very smooth. And then sometimes I couple it with a nice chocolate mask because that helps antioxidant wise.
Yeah.
But pumpkin has been used for years And their enzymes they can go from a 10% all the way to a 60%. And you can't believe the strength and the quality and what the exfoliation, it feels so smooth.
I was going to say enzymes, those fruit enzymes that the pumpkin has, would you say they're gentler than
Absolutely,
your typical, what we American women love, that grainy, that gritty that we were talking about before? They're a little bit, it seems like they're a little bit more gentle. So for sensitive,
absolutely, it's a better alternative to using a granulated scrub, because I feel that with a granulated scrub, American women correlate scrub with clean, and that has nothing to do with it.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
It reminds me, we've had a couple of other conversations with skincare experts, and one is Patrick Ling of Ling Skincare out of New York. And he was so big on this. He was like, his mother is a wonderful esthetician, and he was just like, American women, stop scrubbing. He was just
exactly.
Like,
they correlate the tight feeling.
You. Yeah. And I wonder why. Like, where does
I don't know. It's so funny. They're like, well, I get that tight feeling, I feel clean. No, you're dehydrated.
Yeah.
You're drying your skin out.
It's not good. It's not good.
Not good. And you should always, first of all, soap, don't even get me started. We don't even want to go there. Okay. But I just say absolutely exfoliate. But again, some exfoliants can leave you dry, especially a scrub. They can leave you dry. So an enzyme, especially this time of the year, a pumpkin enzyme is absolutely perfect, gentle, exfoliating, and non-irritating.
Right. Because as fall comes, humidity lowers, but then that takes out the moisture of our skin, right? And so we really
absolutely
pay attention.
Absolutely. We are very lucky on the East Coast to have humidity in the summertime.
Right.
As the fall and the winter, that's going to decrease. And you start to get dry. I mean, of course, and I always tell my clients, you can't use the same thing in the summer that you're using in the winter. You have different needs, so we get very dry.
Yeah, that's something where I'm such a loyalist when it comes to my products. Like, I find something I really like and I want to stick with it. But like you said, our skin is ever changing, right? It changes.
Ever changing. And you're going to be working indoors. Some people are working indoors now, obviously. And you're combating the outdoors, and now you got the heat indoors you're combating. So you have to adjust your skincare regime. It could be just maybe changing up a moisturizer or adding a serum. I mean, serums are really big right now. The layering effect. So.
Right. And the serum comes before the moisturizer, correct?
You're good. Yes.
Well, no, and I've just started using a serum, and that's why I know that, which is good, that I'm late to the game. But
so you're layering, right? That's the whole idea. You're layering.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Depending on the serum you're using.
Okay. I'm down to my last question, and it's something I ask everyone that we talk to, and it's either about sleep or skin. So I'm going to divert this to skin. But what is one thing you do for your skin every single day that is just special?
One thing?
Like, I do a million. I was interested to see what your response to this was.
Feel like
I was like, I know she doesn't just do one thing.
It's such a long.
You're right.
Because I do so much. Well, I do my skincare regime every single day. I mean, you got to live and breathe what you do. But I will tell you that I absolutely, positively, every single day use sunblock. I use sunblock. It's very important. I use a product that's actually a DNA repair.
Okay.
Which is unusual. You can't actually use, most sunblocks are not that, they are not a DNA repair.
I was going to say, I've heard of that.
Yeah, this product is absolutely amazing. And it's also all natural and mineral.
What is
you don't want to use sunblocks that have any chemicals in it.
Right.
It's important. Very important. We've learned this later in life, unfortunately.
Right.
So I use that every single day, even if the sun's not out. Because of the DNA repair and because I'm very active. So even if I'm outside walking or running and the sun is not out, I use the SPF every single day.
You're talking about even in winter. Like, you're talking
absolutely.
About fall. Yep.
Absolutely. There are SPFs in your makeups, but now people aren't wearing makeup. So, but if you are a woman who wears makeup, there's SPF in your makeups, and there is SPF sometimes in your moisturizer, right? But you can never really count on that to cover you should you be out. Should it be a cloudy day? If you live on the East Coast, there's always conditions. You never know what's going to happen.
Right.
And if the sun just happens to pop out and you're outside working out. So I absolutely use my SPF every single day.
I love
I
it.
do everything every single day, but that's
Right.
one thing I
Like
always do.
SPF is a big, big thing.
I never walk out without my SPF.
And I feel
Right.
like we're talking to an esthetician on the West Coast next month. Hopefully, we haven't scheduled it yet, but
Right.
I think sometimes us East Coasters, we think, okay, it's spring, it's summer, that's when we should wear our SPF. But no, every single day, it's essential as
Every
moisturizer.
single day,
No.
every single day. And also it's really important, I think, as women age, they really have trouble with their neck and their décolleté.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because that is probably where most of the sun damage has occurred. So with a DNA repair and an SPF, they found, this company is so science driven. They have found that this DNA repair is helping with the neck crepiness and the décolleté. So I absolutely put it here and here too.
Right.
Never leave the neck and décolleté out of your skincare regime if you can.
That's what
It's really important.
you want to kind of, it's more than just here.
Absolutely. That neck and your décolleté, you want that to be, you notice as you age, the texture will change with the neck.
Oh, so much. Yeah.
So you absolutely have to include it in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. We only have a few months of the year in the sun. And a lot of times, women will abuse that because they're like, we only have this much time in the summer. I have clients come to me and they want me to repair what they've done all summer. And I'm like, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. We can't reverse.
Exactly.
We
Exactly.
can help, but yeah.
Right.
Well, MaryRose, you've been so amazing. It's been so refreshing to
thank
talk
you.
to you. You have such a wonderful.
I'm so glad you
energy
reached
there.
out. And I have to tell you, I was very, very interested in your product.
Yeah.
And as a woman who's gone through menopause, they could be lifesavers.
Well, please, we need to get you a set of those sheets, and so we can.
I have to try them. I absolutely have to try them.
Yes. We'll have to talk to Rachel about that for sure, because
Absolutely.
Same thing with pregnancy. I was having very intense night sweats, and when I got our sheets finally, it was so helpful, because sleeping is already such an up and down with my pregnancy. It's just never.
Sure. Absolutely. And listen, it's so crucial to skincare.
Oh, absolutely.
This is huge that you're tapping into skincare, because it absolutely correlates. Your skin is your largest organ, right? And sleeping is crucial. If you get a great night's sleep, right, on sheets that are going to help you, you're going to help with wrinkles and anti-aging. So your sheets are really anti-aging.
Right.
Think about that.
Yeah.
They are.
So true. So
absolutely.
True. Well, MaryRose, thank you so much for joining us.
Nice meeting you.
Yes, such a pleasure in meeting you.